Recreation Commission meeting.
Recording in progress.
Diane, could you please call roll?
Yes. Commissioner Gibson.
Present.
Commissioner McEwen.
Motion needed.
Commissioner Crampton.
Present.
Commissioner McCarthy.
Here.
Commissioner Panetta. Commissioner Schmidt.
Here.
And Commissioner Spangler.
Here.
Okay, the first order of business is approval of minutes from December 8th. You should have had it in your packet. I hope you've had a chance to look through it. Are there any questions or comments concerning those minutes? Would anyone like to, Karen, make a motion?
A motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, raise your hand. Aye. All those opposed? Minutes have been approved. Now it's time for public comments. Nate, I'll turn this over to you to remind people of how to call in, and just to remind you, it's anything that is not on this particular agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, commissioners. There are two ways to virtually participate in the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. You may join the meeting using the Zoom app on your computer or mobile device, and you can also call into the Zoom meeting. To join the meeting on Zoom on your computer, smartphone, or telephone, use the link or phone number on the agenda at isearchmonterey.org. To call in by telephone, dial toll-free 833-568-8864, then enter meeting ID 160-566-3903#. And if you're prompted to enter a participant ID, press pound again. Detailed instructions on using Zoom are available at monterey.org/public-meetings. To make a public comment using the Zoom app, you can virtually raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button on the bottom of your screen. If you dialed in by phone, raise your hand by dialing *9, and then unmute yourself when you're called upon by dialing *6. You must do both. Public commenters will be muted until it is their turn to speak. I will call on each public speaker in the order of their hands raised. Please stay within the 3-minute time limit that has been established for this meeting. Today's meeting is also streamed live on the city's YouTube account at youtube.com/City of Monterey with approximately a 10-second delay, and also on Comcast channel 25 with a 90-second delay. We look forward to receiving your public comments. So let me see if we have any public comment. We do not have any public comment at this time.
So public comments are now closed. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is recommending the City Council amend and restate a resolution. Karen, would you like to present this to us?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to present to you. And I think Nate is going to be my assistant with the slides. Okay, good evening, commissioners. Tonight we have a presentation regarding the adjustment of the Parks and Recreation fee schedule. Next slide. The presentation will explain the important adjustments to the Parks and Recreation fee schedule in order to balance the needs of the community while also addressing the city's ongoing financial challenges. We will explain the need to raise fees and increase revenue, streamline the resident-non-resident fee differential, and simplify the Monterey Sports Center memberships. Next slide. As we move through this presentation, we want to keep in mind our department's commitments. As a service to the community, it's essential that Parks and Recreation program fees remain affordable while still balancing the budget. The department is committed to providing quality programs and services at a reasonable price. We are also committed to remain innovative, thoughtful, and supportive of the people we serve. Next slide. So why now? On top of the need to invest in our facility infrastructure, the department also needs to adjust revenue to the ever-changing cost of operations. The fees have just not kept pace with the increased expenses. In addition, COVID-19 and the department reductions in staff and services have required us to rethink our business model. Now is the time to capitalize on this culture of change to reimagine and simplify our business processes by leveraging technology to do more. The department has been grappling with a legacy software system that's well over 20 years old. And now we're on the verge of launching a new software system that will enable more convenient self-service 24/7. Next slide. The general fund budget for the Parks and Recreation Department is close to $12 million. This includes the Monterey Sports Center, multiple community centers, several sports facilities, special programs and events, and parks operations, which includes Veterans Memorial Park Campground and urban forestry. The key factors in operational cost increases include the cost of utilities. They continue to rise and are approximately up 39%. There's also a cost of part-time salaries and the minimum wage increases. The increase has gone from $8 per hour in 2014 to $15 an hour in 2022. That's an 88% increase. Not to mention, the part-time labor market is extremely competitive right now, with public and private sectors struggling to attract and maintain a part-time workforce. The cost of programs and supplies and materials has also risen due to supply chain issues and inflation. The Bay Area Consumer Price Index, or CPI, has increased about 24% since 2014, or on average about 3.4% per year. Other considerations include the cost of COVID-19, such as enhanced cleaning, testing, sick leave, and personal protective equipment. There's also the cost associated with restoration of programs and services and staff. Since 2014, the fees have increased about 10%, and most recently an additional 5% for the establishment of the Facility Maintenance and Improvement Fund. Keep in mind that the Facility Maintenance and Improvement Fund does not address the rising cost of staffing, utilities, supplies, and services. So because of this, the Parks and Recreation Department is recommending the proposed fee increase for both residents and non-residents alike. Next slide. So while reviewing our fees, we noticed that over time, our department differential between resident and non-resident rates became quite varied. So we're now adjusting them to be more consistent across the entire department. So to help do this, we surveyed California Parks and Recreation organizations to best understand how local agencies calculated their resident and non-resident rates. The rates generally account for the fact that residents contribute to the general fund through a percentage of their property tax, either as property owners or indirectly as renters. Each proposed fee adjustment has been reviewed independently to account for the enrollment and the cost of providing the service, as well as surveys of fees for other similar services offered in other communities. Next slide. Next up, Sports Center memberships. The Monterey Sports Center membership structure was created 30 years ago, and both the fitness and the recreation industries have evolved since then. So technology has transformed the way the community shops for programs and services, and customers can now conduct research, register for programs and services, or purchase products all from the palm of their hand, anywhere, anytime, day or night. As you may have noticed, the Monterey Sports Center has a wide variety of memberships based on age, residency, and length of time commitment, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. Our proposed model still consists of a multitude of options based on age and residency, only now we'd like to add a teen membership for ages 13 to 17 years old. Because 9 to 12-year-olds have limited access to our fitness amenities, we thought it was only fair to charge them a lesser price. Also, to be more congruent with other gyms in the industry, we would like to add a monthly subscription membership where individuals and families may pay for membership by the month with an auto pay method such as EFT or credit card or Because there's no time commitment for this membership, we think that Monterey Sports Center patrons can cancel at any time. We think this model simplifies sales and renders 3-month and 6-month options unnecessary. So for those who prefer to pay in advance as well as receive the best value, we'll retain the annual membership. So just to recap, the new model will include team memberships, monthly subscription memberships with auto pay or EFT, and annual pay in advance memberships. And another new feature, all of these memberships will now be available online. This will be a brand new service that we will roll out with the new software later this spring. Next slide. Potential revenue generation. Based on post-pandemic revenue projections, the fee adjustments may generate approximately $105,000 per year. When the department reaches pre-pandemic revenue levels, the fee adjustments could generate approximately $275,000 per year. If the fees are approved to start March 1st, there's a potential to earn about $35,000 more this fiscal year. Next slide. So in conclusion, staff requests that the Parks and Recreation Commission consider recommending the City Council amend and reinstate the master fee schedule to adjust the Parks and Recreation fee schedule effective March 1st, 2022. This concludes the presentation, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
So just one comment. I actually really like the Sports Center. The way you've reconfigured the membership levels, I think that makes perfect sense.
Great. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. Other commissioners, do you have any comments on what was presented?
I think the increase is really minimal to what you're experiencing right now with not only wage inflation, but also the cost of goods that you need in order to conduct business. So I wholeheartedly support this. And I guess I would like to know, just when do you think you may have to come to the table again to ask for another increase?
So I'm sorry, if I could just interrupt, we do want to do public comment and then PRC discussion.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I think we
got
just
questions.
want to make sure we get the public, in case there's any public out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, if you have questions, I think is what we're
Got it.
supposed to, commissioners. Yeah.
Pardon me.
Anybody
sorry.
have a question?
I have a question.
Kathy, go ahead.
Yeah, I wondered if staff looked at a supplement, not supplement, a surcharge instead of a across-the-board percent increase.
We did consider a surcharge, but we didn't feel that it was applicable to the wide range and the broad range of fees that we had. Some agencies do like a flat $5 difference or a $10 difference, but that didn't make sense with all the fees that we have, everything from our daily admission, which is under $10, up to family memberships that are hundreds of dollars. So we thought that for a percentage worked better to keep it consistent across the department.
So it could be done, well, that's a discussion. All right, thank you for your answer.
So will that fee schedule also be part of the new software system? So when people click on doing something, they automatically have the information. Okay.
Absolutely.
And they can pay online, which is, I'm assuming, yes, for every.
Yes, that's new. We've never offered memberships online before. And part of that is a sales strategy. A lot of gyms like you to come in and talk in person, and so they can get you to sign up. But we really want to make it user friendly. I've always been a strong believer to make it easy for people to give you their money and have them and interact with you and engage in your programs and services. So we're hoping that this system will do that for us.
But is that true of the picnic permits and the beach permits? Will they be able to do everything online?
Shannon can elaborate for sure, but we are working towards doing a permitting online.
Yep. The plan is for everything to be online, except for certain things may not be, like maybe a ball field rental, because there's so many nuances to a ball field rental, potential additional charges and things like that. But simple barbecue permits, beach use permits, those type of things will be allowed to be done online. And then the other option will be, we'll still be able to process a lot of things in the system and send someone an invoice so they can just pay without having to still come in. So that is something different that we have not been able to do. So there, even without being fully online, there is still some streamlining that will happen that will make it very much more customer friendly.
Okay, other questions from commissioners? If not, let's move on to public comments. Is there anyone out there who'd like to comment from the public?
Again, a reminder, use the raise your hand button or press *9 if you'd like to make a public comment on this item. We have no public comment.
The public comments are now closed. Return to the commissioners. Do you guys have any other questions, discussion, and final comments? Sid, I think you'd like to, Commissioner Crampton, you'd like to speak?
Yeah, the only thing that I think my question was, this seems to be a minimal increase in the fees and the memberships. So I was wondering, how long do you think this will endure as far as helping make ends meet, or, you know, at least getting a little bit more money in the coffers?
You know, my gut instinct is it'll be a year. I would hope for at least a year so we can give our programs and facilities a chance to rebuild, because that we were really trying to find that balance with the fact that we're trying to rebuild and bring people back, and we're also dealing with COVID restrictions and reduced services. Like at the Sports Center, we have fewer hours than we used to have, and fewer classes. We have only half the amount of classes we used to have. So we felt that we should be a little more conservative with the increases with those challenges that we have at this time. I hope that it's not under a year, but it really is going to depend on what the economy does, what the pandemic does, and what city management needs and city council needs from us.
Thank you.
Nat, did I get everything right on that? Our city manager could probably answer even better than me.
Assistant City Manager. Yeah, no, good to see you all. And Karen was spot on. This is part of an annual process that typically takes place in the beginning of the calendar year. So we're very mindful not to increase fees too often or too much, recognizing that the purpose of our Parks and Recreation programs is to maintain affordability for our residents and for the community. So we hope to not to come back to you anytime before February of 2023. So this is the only annual process.
Commissioner McCarthy, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, just a comment and just an overall comment first is I just think it's inevitable, and for that reason I support it. I just think it's unfortunate because, as you all know, very recently we raised it 5% in terms of our maintenance and facilities fees, and now we're adding this on, so it sort of hits the consumer right between the eyes. But I think you've done a very good job of being transparent about why, given the costs that are really increasing and mounting. So that's just an overall comment in terms of this. I wish we didn't have to do it, but I think it's inevitable. So.
And Commissioner McCarthy, I appreciate that comment very much, because that was another consideration when we were talking about how high should we raise the fees. We really did take that in consideration, being that it's the same consumer, right? Even though those fees are going to go to different purposes, we felt like it's still the same guest, same consumer, same customer that will be bearing the brunt of those prices. So thank you for making that comment.
Commissioner Spangler.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say it really appeared that you did a really diligent job in the survey, and I was impressed by the response by the cities, and I just think staff's working really hard to try to be really intentional and thoughtful as you raise these rates. And I saw other cities seem like they hadn't even barely thought about it, some of them. And our staff has been working really hard to do the right thing by our community. So just want to thank you guys for that. And I think it may be a little challenging for some people, because there are certain services that are going to cost, they're going to look like they cost a lot more than others for the non-resident and the resident. But I think knowing that you've done such in-depth work to try to fairly price those, I think really helps.
Thank you, Commissioner Spangler.
Any other comments or questions?
I don't know how to do that. A little yellow hand. How do you do that?
We
I
can,
don't know, Kathy, that's how you do it.
if you, yeah, so you know where your microphone and your video are at the bottom of your screen?
Yeah,
You wiggle your
I
mouse,
see it. I saw it.
you raise your hand.
Okay,
It
there I
hides
am.
from you unless you wiggle down there.
Okay. All right, so I was wondering about the businesses category.
The expenses category?
No, when businesses got a break,
Corporate.
corporate and business, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, I can answer that. What is your question, Kathy?
so I was wondering, does the business have to be a certain size business?
For its small group activities. So the business doesn't have to necessarily be a certain size business, but are you referring to 7 and 8 on the fee schedule?
No, the membership, yearly membership,
Oh, the
Oh,
corporate.
that's the sports center. I'm sorry.
Corporate membership.
business and corporate.
Oh, so the corporate membership, and Andrea, correct me if I'm wrong, is for local corporations, and they normally have to have a minimum of 4 employees that commit to becoming members. So it doesn't matter how large your organization is, but you have to commit to at least 4 people joining the facility in order to receive that rate.
Okay, is that right, Andrea?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
Sorry, I was looking for my unmute button.
okay. And that's same for residents and non-residents.
That's correct.
Yes.
Was there any thought to increasing it for non-residents?
Karen and I did have a discussion about that, whether we should have, based on the business's address, if the business is in the city of Monterey versus the actual individual. But at the end of the day, we decided to keep it at a flat rate.
We really want to encourage businesses to give this as a benefit to their employees. We have some businesses that will actually pay for it for their employees. So we wanted to make it desirable for them to want to do that.
Well,
And so if
thank you.
most of their employees are coming from Salinas or other cities, we didn't want to penalize them for that.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, would someone care to make a motion?
I move to accept the above discussion item. Let's see what the name of it is. The City Council amend and restate Resolution 21-127 Master Fee Schedule to adjust the Parks and Recreation Department fee schedule.
I second.
All those in favor, I guess that all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. This is going to be a short meeting. This is we're ready for staff comments.
Wow, I didn't expect it to go that quickly. We are so fortunate to have a board like you that is so understanding and conscientious and really understands us. So I really can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate the amount of effort you guys put in to come up with that fee schedule. That was no mean task. So we appreciate that.
Thank you for understanding.
Ellen, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I was very impressed, as was Lacey, about the research that you did into this and how clear it was and easy to read. And then I wanted to ask Andrea, in future, and maybe you'll speak to this later and you don't have to speak to it now, is what are you envisioning for the changes over this next year at the Sports Center?
You know, a lot of it is going to depend on the budget and staffing levels. We want to incrementally get back to where we were with our hours of operation, with the number of amenities that are included in our membership. We're one of the few gyms that it's an all-inclusive membership. So I don't really want to state where I think we can get, because it's all going to depend on staffing. As you know, we've gone from 28 staff to 5.75 staff currently. And I feel like right now we are at capacity. I don't feel like we really could take on any more at this point. But if we are successful in getting more part-time or more full-time or regular part-time employees, then we can start incrementally getting back to where we were.
Super. No pressure. Just thought I would ask and hear your words, and you do whatever's right. We appreciate every hour that you're open. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Dr. McEwen, we did put in a request for mid-year budget. So we have put in a request for additional staffing so that we can hopefully start expanding services sooner rather than later. And if we aren't successful mid-year, we've already started formulating plans to think about next fiscal year. We're already working on the budget for the July 1 budget that should be passed in June. So that work has already started.
Super. Thank you.
And I'll add to Karen's comment as well about the mid-year budget. The request that Karen and her team submitted is fully supported by the Finance Department and City Manager's Office. So that'll be going forward to the City Council for consideration on March 1st. And part of that recommendation will also be bringing back 2 full-time sports coordinator positions, one in the sports center and one in the recreation division. So that'll be part of our staff recommendation to the City Council coming up in a few weeks.
Karen, do you have any other comments you want to make?
Oh, I do have some comments. So first, I should make sure I say thank you very much to the team, especially Shannon and Andrea, who really did some heavy lifting with this fee research and putting together the report. And we really worked together as a team to try to make it as clear and concise as possible and easy for you guys to read and understand. We know it's a lot of fees and a lot of changes. And so they really did some exceptional work to get this ready for us today. Quick updates for you as far as pickleball. Pickleball mediation is underway. They've reached somewhat of an agreement so far where they need to go back to their respective groups. So the neighborhood and the club are speaking to their groups, and then they will reconvene on the 15th to discuss if there's accepting of those mutual agreements so far. The city has reviewed it as well, and we are supporting those efforts. So we hope to have a compromise to be able to present to you sometime this spring. Disc golf, we've done extensive work on the agreement, and we have a tentative agreement with disc golf with the Stinging Jellies. We're now just finalizing and cleaning up the contract and finalizing maps, and the disc golf club has also raised all the money that they need. So they're ready to sign the contract and hand over a check so that we could start the capital improvement project to do the ADA improvements out at Ryan Ranch. So we're very excited about that. Also, in good faith, the club is also doing their maintenance that they cannot do in March because the nesting season begins. So any mowing and weed whacking and things like that cannot happen in that month. So even though the contract is not signed, they have 2 weekends already lined up for this month to go and start those maintenance activities so they can be good to go as soon as the contract is signed. So I thought that was great news. Also, Laguna Grande, we've done exceptional work with the consultant to get a trail maintenance strategy underway. They are very close. They've incorporated public input into the strategy, and they will be presenting it on March 7th at 6 p.m. to the public to hopefully have the board finalize it so that we can move on to the environmental phase of the plan. I think those are the main highlights I had. So thank you so much.
Those are all really good movements forward. That's great to hear. Shannon, comments from you?
Hello, commissioners. Thank you. A lot to share. We are, you've heard about our software. We were hoping to launch sooner, but it has required us to reevaluate all of our business practices, things that have been in place for 20, 30 plus years. We are reevaluating everything, and so we will be launching in this quarter or this half of the year. And it is already, we can say, easier for staff to make changes and to do the things that we need to do. So we are very hopeful that you and the public will find it much simpler and allow us to get away from a lot of paper, less issues or requirements for camp registrations. Parents will be able to submit things online. The customer will be able to self-serve, print receipts, go back in and find things in their account. It is 100% night and day from our current system. And I think COVID had a lot to do with that as well, because people are used to online shopping, curbside pickup, all of those things that we have all become accustomed to or had to become accustomed to. So we hope to join the rest of the country with our technology in the recreation division and the sports center. So we're really excited about that. We are busy. We will be working on budget in the next couple of weeks, revenue projections and positions and ISD requests, information services, getting all of that together. And we will be crunching the numbers with these new fee increases. We are maybe a little bit behind, but summer recruitment is going to be kicking off. So we will be working on our summer recruitment. And we are planning on our summer camps. Our traditional summer camps will be returning. So Whispering Pines Day Camp, Camp Kinsabi, a summer fun playground program. There may be less children, but not as less or as little as 2021, but maybe a little bit smaller than the full 2019 summer, where we could have 90 plus children at Camp Kinsabi and 100 plus children at Whispering Pines Day Camp. But we are rebuilding, so we are planning on all of those programs returning. And we are experiencing challenges in general with part-time staff. Not that they're not great, the ones that we have are wonderful. Recruitment is a challenge because we are competing with the private market, and they are offering, starting higher than minimum wage and offering benefits and things which we don't have the ability to do. So that is a challenge. So we are going to be pushing the recruitment, and that will be a deciding factor as to how big our programs can be and how much we're able to do, because we have to have the staff in order to do it. So we are planning for our full slate of summer programs, basketball, field sports, flag football, all of those things will be returning. And I do want to say that our field sports programs are just incredibly popular. They're more popular than they were prior to COVID 2019. The revenue and participants have actually exceeded our 2019 numbers. Just our field sports programs, separate from our contractual instructor programs that are run, they're at 75.2% of revenue for the fiscal year, which is amazing. So want to give out a big shout out to Brett on Mario for that, and very excited to have him back at full time, because we really definitely need that extra amount of time and supervisory experience as we head into the busiest time of the year for us. So we are very excited, and I think people with COVID again pushed people outdoors, pushed people to be more active, and that has not slowed down. They're still looking for opportunities to be outdoors, to recreate, to be active, to limit the amount of time outside and in front of a computer. So we're definitely seeing that that's not changing for both youth and adults. And upcoming things that we are also planning, we are going to do another bunny photo op for our spring event. Not a large egg hunt, but a bunny hop photo op. We got a lot of feedback from parents that they loved it. So we are planning that. It will be the Saturday of the weekend before Easter. So I think that's like April 9th or something like that. And then we are also planning for the return of the Amberjacks, the Pecos League. They will be returning this summer, starting Memorial Day weekend, that Friday, the 27th, I want to say. That will be their opening weekend. And they actually have 2 players that are going to be headed to the major leagues. So that's exciting. And we are also planning for some sort of 4th of July event on Holton Hall lawn. It will be scaled down version of what we've done in the past, just because we do not have the same amount of staff and the capacity. So music and food, I can say, will be a part of it. Maybe not bounce houses and carnival games, but something for the community to enjoy on the 4th. And it's a Monday this year.
So will there be a parade?
I don't know. I'm reaching out to the Old Monterey Business Association. I am sure there will most likely be a pancake breakfast from our fire department, which was a huge success last year. So hopefully it'll be pancake breakfast, parade, some sort of lawn party, and the Amberjacks will be in town as well, so you can go watch a baseball game. So lots happening. And I just want to say kudos to all of my staff. Some of them are here at this meeting, and they're doing a wonderful, amazing job. And we're chugging along, and things are going really well. But now is our busiest time of the year. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrea, what's new?
Sorry, I had to mute because we had an overhead announcement.
That's okay. I'm done.
We have a free community event coming up. We're calling it Family Fun Night. It's going to be Friday, February 18th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's free to the community. It's going to include our Whibbit, which is the aquatic obstacle course. We're going to have a special Zumba class. We're going to have cornhole, hot shot, and free body comp. So it's going to be a really fun event. Would love to see all of you here and spread the word, and let's try to get some new folks here so they can see everything that we have to offer and why we're considered the premier fitness facility on the peninsula. We're also planning for our spring break camps, so that will happen, spring break sports camp. We're going to run 2 consecutive weeks, and similar to Shannon, super excited to have our full-time sports coordinator back. Fingers crossed that gets approved, and planning for a full summer camp program also. So those are some of the things that we're excited to be rebuilding, and really looking forward to that. Budget wise, again, Sports Center, I think is doing very, very well. We budgeted for 1.3 million. We're currently tracking that will probably bring in a little over 2 million. So almost 700,000 more than we projected, which is really exciting. And I think as we bring back more staff and expand our capacity and programs, we're just going to see that revenue continue to grow. So again, just very proud of my staff. They're working so hard and giving extremely good customer service to keep everyone as happy as we can, considering everyone's wearing a mask. And so that's going really well. So this fiscal year, since July 1, it's been 30 weeks, and we have seen over 130,000 visits. And those are just people that check in through the front desk or pay drop-in. That does not count all the kiddos going to swim lessons or basketball clinics or volleyball clinics. Those are just strictly members checking in at the front desk. So again, we just see a consistent, slow, gradual build, but very exciting. And then the last thing I want to talk about is we recently received a very, very generous gift from a longtime member who unfortunately passed away about a year ago due to COVID complications. But her daughter reached out and just wrote the most touching, heartfelt letter expressing her mom's gratitude and her mom's wish to gift us $10,000. She talked about the fact that her mom did not even learn how to swim until she came to the United States to marry her father. And then at 80 years old was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and her doctor said the best thing for you is water therapy. So of course she came to the Monterey Sports Center and became an avid swimmer at 80 years old. And even she said right up until the end, the doctors were saying all the advances in technology and medication, the best thing for you to do is stay in the water and keep moving and keep swimming. She talked about her little routine of swimming and then going to Paris Bakery for her breakfast and her coffee. And her daughter were very close. So they would talk often on the phone, and she just looked forward to hearing those stories from her mom about all the antics that go on at the sports center, all the characters we have here. And that was kind of part of their daily communication. And it was very sweet. She actually, the one person she named in the entire letter was Lupe, who we all know and love. So we made sure to get that letter to Lupe so that she knew what an impact she really made on this particular member. And there's just one line I wanted to read. It hit me as profound. She said, where is it? You probably know, but do not hear enough, that you provide so much more than a place to swim or exercise or get fit. You provide people like my mother with a truly caring community. You are vital to keeping our town and our peninsula together. And I just thought that was, so heartfelt. We do get compliments all the time, but nothing like this. And so the member's name is Kazuko Mockett. I don't know if any of you know her, but she was an avid swimmer. And we just so much appreciate not only the gift, but the letter. I think the letter hit us more than the financial gift. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
That's great, Andrea. Thanks for sharing it with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Louis, what's up with parks?
With parks, we've been getting a lot of tree work done. I probably see a lot of the tree contractors out there doing a lot of tree trimming and some removal of dead trees. We did a nice landscaping job on the corner of Del Monte and El Estero near the boat rental. And we are getting ready, hopefully, to resume cutting day on March 19th. Been having it for the last 2 years, so we're planning on having cutting day again.
That's good news. Are you still the forester, by the way?
Actually, we promoted Tice to assistant forester. She's taking some of the load off me, but we're kind of sharing the duties right now.
That's great. So let's turn to commissioner comments. Commissioner McEwen, you want to start us off? You're on the top of my screen.
Well, thank you. I feel honored. It's, kind of hard being here on the top of the screen, but I'm next to you so that all the honor rubs off. Anyway, joking aside, it's always a pleasure to hear these wonderful Parks and Rec people working hard to make our community the wonderful place it is despite COVID and everything else. And I just get this little whiff of optimism, and I'm just so encouraged that perhaps we'll see a little bit more fun this year and a little bit more opportunity for the community to do all those things that we enjoy so much. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and it's a pleasure.
Commissioner Crampton.
I will repeat what I said before out of turn. And I really am. I'm so impressed with what you've been able to do with not only the cutbacks in staff, but in budget, and still able to really make it seamless as far as me as a member of the community being able to enjoy the parks and recreation here. And I know that a lot of my neighbors feel the same way. And so thank you for all you do. And I hope that as budgets improve and we're able to access more funds for the department, that you're able to hire back the best people that you had and the ones that you can bring in new. And I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yeah, I'd probably repeat the sentiment of Dennis. You know, it's never fun asking for more, but you know, and the financial times are hitting a lot of us hard, but we all know that it's needed. It's kind of just common sense. So, you know, great presentation. I look forward to seeing more of you guys, hopefully in person sooner than later. So, yeah, keep up the good work. Thank you.
Commissioner McCarthy?
Well, first, I'll just echo what people have said about, you know, hopefully being able to get together in the short term rather than the long term. And two, just the great job that people are doing with, you know, limited funds, limited staff and everything else. And just to add one thing, and it's kudos to Louis with his Forester hat on and ties, because, and I mentioned this before, but there's just the ability. There are 3 local Rotary clubs that are pitching in to help plant some trees. We planted some trees around El Estero, et cetera, and there's some money left over. So we, on March 12, are going to go plant about 20 trees at Whispering Pines. And the point of that comment is that's what I think, you know, is going to help going forward, is getting some of the community, be it Rotary clubs or other sources that have avenues of raising money to contribute to the city, so that the city doesn't have to pay for it out of their budget. We have to sign waivers, we have to do all that stuff, which is understandable. But one, it gets people involved, meaning they go out there and dig some holes and put the trees in. And two, it helps save the city some money and some costs on labor. And I think, you know, the more we can do things like that in a sensible, reasonable way, just it's going to benefit our city in the long run. So kudos to Louis and, you know, the forestry folks for making that happen.
And thank you, Dennis. You did a great job out there too. They look nice.
Commissioner Panetta?
Yeah, I loved all the trees that are popping up around town. It's been wonderful to see as I walk around. And I'm thrilled that summer camp's coming back. I think that's fantastic, finally. And the increase in membership at the sports center, things are looking up, which is wonderful to see. Thank you all.
Commissioner Spangler?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think that the hard work that this in Parks and Rec that happens, I think really helps foster and set the tone for others in the community to jump in and really serve the community. So I was really inspired by the disc golf group coming, and before the contract, you know, working on that area. And that's just a really beautiful aspect of our community, and hearing about the pickleball clubs and the neighborhood, you know, diligently working on trying to come to an agreement. It's all really inspiring. And I think that because you guys work so hard, that energy helps the rest of the community and these different groups that are connected with Parks and Rec to up their game. So I just really appreciate being a part of it.
And just my final comments, I guess, in closing is I appreciate all the work that you guys have done. It's pretty amazing. I will say one thing, Dennis did see us working as VIPs, and I think, you know, that sort of community spirit and pitching in where we can makes a big difference. And I'm really heartened that the Rotary Club has sort of taken on this challenge of tree planting. I guess the only other thing I'd say is it always amazes me how beautiful our environment is. And I guess this is kudos to everyone. I can't tell you how many compliments we get when we're working, that everything in Monterey is just beautiful. So we are fortunate to live here and fortunate to have such community spirit. Because I'm heartened that COVID numbers are declining, that we may actually get to be together again, that we'll actually get to take a picture together with our shirts on at the train. I mean, I'm still looking for that. But just in closing, it's great to see everyone. And I guess I'm looking forward to actually seeing you in person. There's just one announcement. Our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, March 9th. I'm sure we'll hear if there's any changes to that. If there are no other comments, I will declare this commission meeting adjourned.